Welcome back to another devlog. Today I will be talking about my level management system, which may be overstating it. It is extremely simple and basic, which is all I think I will need for this game. But I built it in a way that hopefully can scale as needs arise, as feature creep occurs. But it's built on scriptable objects, which I recently learned about and was extremely excited, since I was wondering, how do people in Unity handle persisting data? Obviously, I know about singletons. I've got like a game manager, game session singleton. But I'm like, I don't want to create a million of those. So then I learned about scriptable objects, and I'm like, awesome. Obviously you can't update them in runtime, so it's more for just kind of data, that will persist and does not change. So I was like, that sounds good for level data. So I created a, level class inheriting from scriptable object, and gave it some variables. So go over back to here, you can see, I've got the level name, the number of the level, the scene count. So this is just an array of scenes. Right now I have a 1-to-1, so every level has only one scene, but I wanted to give myself flexibility if the needs arise, so I went ahead and made it an array. So if I need like 3 scenes or 2 scenes or whatever per level, I can do that. If I want a big level that's going to have, loading of scenes going through a door or through an area where it just becomes too large, so I need to create it as multiple scenes. The world, world is just like, Mario, world 1, world 2, and then the start position for the character, since I can't rely on, the location in the hierarchy, because that is, I don't have access to that before the scene loads, and through my player respawn implementation, I need access to the position. So I just put it as part of the level data. So, and then I have a level list scriptable object, which I'll only instantiate one of them, and it will literally just be a list of the levels. And then I can expose this to anything that needs access to it. So for example, the menu system. So click back in here. If we go to level select, you can see I display the levels and the worlds, and I can switch between them. And that is just grabbing the data, obviously, from that level list. So I don't have a full-blown level manager yet. Right now, I was just to get it working, I was just testing it in the level select menu. So whenever a level button is clicked, it just, grabs the scene index from that level list scriptable object that was instantiated, grabs the levels within it, gets the level number, and gets the first scene. Because like right now, I just have always load the first scene in the array of scenes for the level, and then right now I just have the load level in my game session game manager singleton. Maybe I'll take this out of this and put it into a specific level manager if needed, if I end up having more functionality. But all it takes is the scene index, and then it takes a vector 3 position to know where to start the player in the level, which is again part of my level object. So that's that. And then I guess I'll go over the menu, since it's kind of related. But I have, it's a mess right now. I was figuring, most of you probably know how it goes. I'm learning Unity as I go, so everything's a mess, and then I'm refactoring, and I'm just trying to get something working, displaying, and then once I'm like, okay, that works, then I can refactor. So right now, my menus are, I have a level menu, a pause menu, an inventory menu, and they don't inherit. There's no, template. It's just, they're all separate and they all reference each other, and it needs to be redone. But for now, it works. And so for the level select menu, I needed dynamic buttons, and I wasn't sure how to do this in Unity, because you go to build your UI and you're like, okay, well, I've got all these buttons that I need to place, but I don't know what my buttons are yet, right? Because I don't know what levels are going to be in my game, and I only want to display the levels maybe they've unlocked, things like that. So I was a little bit not sure how I wanted to do this, and I ended up trying two ways. I used two different implementations. The first way on the level select menu is that I instantiated my buttons in the script. So you can see this is the level select menu, and the buttons that are not going to change, the static buttons that will always be there, are just there. But all of the level buttons are not in the UI. So, and also the world name. So, go here, go to level select, all these buttons get instantiated. So I'm doing that in this level select menu class. So basically I have an update screen function that every time I call this, which is, whenever I open that menu and whenever I click to go to different worlds, I just instantiate that world text at the top, and then I loop through all the levels in my level list, and I just create buttons for each of them, for each world, depending on the page that I'm on. So that worked, and I think that's fine. And then for my inventory menu, I decided to do something else, because I'm like I said, I'm learning, I'm experimenting. And so for my inventory menu, I went with an implementation where instead of instantiating all my buttons, I created all of my buttons up front, because with this implementation, I basically went with, well, let's imagine that I know there's at most going to be 8 items displayed on a page. So I will just create all of the buttons, and I will just activate them and populate the data in them, change it out when the menu is loaded. So all these buttons are hidden. I created the 8 buttons, and they're all hidden. But then in the inventory menu, instead of instantiating and destroying the buttons, I'm simply looping through and setting, getting the buttons, the next one that is available to be displayed, and I'm setting the item name, the description. Again, these are pulling the data from scriptable objects, and then setting it to be active. And then I just set them all as inactive, basically, when you close the menu. So 2 different ways of doing it. I think both work and are both acceptable and fine ways of doing it. I'm not sure which way I prefer. This is kind of nice because I could visually build the layout. I knew what it was going to look like. Whereas when I did the level select menu, it was kind of a pain because I had to keep running my game so I could instantiate everything and see what it would look like, and then I would have to tweak the values, and also it was, the coordinates were in world space. It didn't factor in my anchors and stuff for positioning. there's probably some way, some method I could have used or something I could have done to convert, but I didn't, and I was just trying to get it working. And it's, I guess last thing is, I think, I assume I'm not alone in this, but I'm learning Unity as I go along, and so I will start implementing something, and I have all these ideas and reasons why I'm doing a certain implementation, but often by the time I get to the end of it, like I don't remember why I did something a specific way. I'll look back, I'll be like, why did I go with a scriptable object for the level list? Did I need to? And then I'll think about it, and sometimes I'll be like, oh yes, that makes sense. I did this because I need all of the data to be accessible at any time before a scene loads. And then other times I'll think about it and I'll be like, no, I can't find out a good reason why I made that choice. And maybe there's a better way, but I guess that's just how it goes. And that's part of the fun of programming, is just, learning and trying to discover more efficient, better ways, more elegant ways of doing things. And I've been having a lot of fun learning Unity. And so that's going to wrap it up for this devlog. I guess as a closer, I haven't really said, but I'm going to be doing these devlogs for throughout the development of this game. This game I plan to work on for hopefully less than a year. This game is really meant to be my first commercial release, in the sense that I'm just trying to get practice and get out there. I can't create an amazing, like a huge seller, amazing game my first shot. I've tried making games in the past. I've never gotten past little prototypes before, simply because I look too far ahead and I didn't take the baby steps. So this time I've told myself, hey, I have to take the baby steps. I have to make a simple platformer. It's not going to knock anybody's socks off. It's probably not going to sell well, and that's okay. I just need the experience of making a game from start to finish, doing everything. Because usually I've just made prototypes with just a main gameplay loop. I've never worked on menus, loading, saving, sounds, all this stuff that you need to do to make a full game. So I want to make it start to finish a full game that's fun, it's people would enjoy, but like I said, it's not going to be super unique. It's not going to be, the next Celeste or Mario, or, it's not going to revolutionize anything. And that's okay. It's just, I need to take baby steps, and then I can get there with subsequent games. But I need to put in the reps, I need to put in the practice. I need to work the muscles, build my muscles in game development. And the only way I'm going to do that is by actually making games. So that's what I'm doing. And so you can look forward to many more of these as I continue, and hopefully the game will, grow into something cool. Right now, by the way, all the art is like either free art or like very inexpensive art on itch.io that's like anybody can purchase and use. So I may just do that for my first game. I'm considering maybe commissioning unique art. I'll continue to evaluate that as I go along and make that choice if it's worth it. But with free art, it's really hard to, with free and like itch art, it's really hard to get cohesive, because you usually can't get everything from one asset pack. And so we'll see what I do, but just a heads up. So thanks for listening to me ramble on, and I hope all of you have a great day. Bye.